The college football experience, Iowa Hawkeyes 2023 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Circa Sports. Yes, Circa Sports is back with their Circa Survivor and Circa Millions contest. $14 million are up for grabs. Get all the details at circasports.com. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
Hey, this is Bill Romanowski. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Yes, yes, yes. Woo! Welcome. Welcome to the college football experience. Iowa Hawkeyes 2023 season preview episode. Hopefully you're watching on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience as we break down all 133 college football teams with the solo podcast for each and every team in the land. We do this shit each and every year. And, I'm excited to do, it just doesn't get much more exciting than this, in my opinion. All right. Look, if you're wondering just who the hell you're listening to, my name is Colby Swiggin Database Dad, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Good night.
And I'm after you, buddy. I'm after every Iowa fan I meet that it just comes out spewing hate about the Ferentz family. All right? They're fucking winning games. Shameful. What the fuck are you doing in life? All right? They're winning games. All right? Look, I am joined by, if I'm Kirk Ferentz, this guy definitely is Brian Ferentz. Give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi-oh! Well, tell you what, if he's got to score 25 points per game this year, I guarantee I'm going to make more than 25 points per episode. So I am no Brian Ferentz over here.
Oh, you got to make 25 points on this episode. We need a shot clock. That's right. Because I don't know, man. I'm eager to get this guy's opinion because he is, I believe, a Hawkeye fan. And look, the way that I met this guest of ours was just a fucking guy that was very knowledgeable about pretty much every sport ever. Look, we've never talked ping pong in our life, but I have a feeling he knows what the fuck is going on in the ping pong world out there. But I believe he is a Iowa Hawkeye fan, and he's just a very smart gambler. He's on social media as at RobDFB, but it's Rob Donaldson is the way I know him. How you doing, Rob? And thanks for hopping on the show.
Yeah, thanks you guys for having me on. Obviously a big time watcher of y'all, everything that you do. And yeah, big Iowa fan, Iowa alum. And it's a love-hate relationship that usually ends up just kind of somehow making me love it again every single year. So I'm glad to be talking the Hawks.
Yeah, let's just dive into this because, okay, I'm at a comedy show a couple months back, probably, I don't know if I had to guess, probably December. And we have a comic on the bill. No names named here, but he's an Iowa grad, and I'm about to introduce him. I was hosting this event, and he tells me, he's like, yeah, I just can't wait till we fire Kirk Ferentz. And I almost couldn't do the show. I almost couldn't do the fucking show because I go, what do you mean? What do you mean? So I'm curious, Rob, how are the state of things with Iowa fans and Kirk Ferentz, and how about for yourself?
Listen, the grass ain't always greener, right? So many teams just end up burying themselves because they want that extra hurdle. They'll end up wanting to fire like a Mark Richt, and sometimes it works out in that situation, or they'll try to go after Jim Harbaugh, and then all of a sudden Look at where Michigan evolved to just 2 years later. So there are some times where, yeah, maybe you're not fulfilling that potential or that upside every single year. And that's kind of sometimes where I fall with Iowa football, in the sense that, can you just give us a top 100 offense and all of a sudden we're going to be playing for Rose Bowls nonstop? But at the same time, when you have that consistency for 20 plus years of just winning, developing talent, putting out NFL talent, and at least being in the conversation and the mix for the Big Ten, I feel like that's a pretty damn good spot to be in.
Yeah, and if anything, I would use the Harbaugh thing. Like, they went away from the power run of Lloyd Carr days to the spread with Rich Rod and with Brady Hoke.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out. And they
Finesse and Michigan don't mix.
Yeah. I mean,
probably not going to work at Iowa either.
I just, I sit there and I say, do you realize? I mean, first off, just since 2001, they haven't been bowl eligible. So 2001, that's 23 football seasons ago. They haven't been bowl eligible but one time, and that was in 2012.
They haven't not been bowl.
Yeah, I can't talk. And glad you folks out there are listening to the show. But I have, 7 double-digit win seasons. I just don't. You're fucking Iowa. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. You should be able to win anywhere, but he has one. And to me, I just don't. You're never going to get the talent of Ohio State. It doesn't matter. You could have your NIL collective have, Megan Fox giving everyone fellatio, and you're still not going to get the players that
might
State
help.
get.
That would be a strong recruiting piece. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Look, I don't know. I just feel like, these fans are so unrealistic. Like, remember what happened when Nebraska said, you know what, man, we're running this ancient,
Bo Pelini out.
Yeah, we're running this offense, this whether it was option, whether it was I-form, whatever you want to say. And they're like, we should go to get Bo Pelini or Brian Callahan. No, was it Brian Callahan? Tom Callahan's
Big Tom.
Tommy boy. What the fuck's the Raider coach that went to the Bill Callahan? Bill Callahan. And they've been in like a 20-year funk. You know what I mean? So it's like, beware what you wish for. And so like, if I had asked you in December, were you of the opinion that they should go a new route or what?
No, I definitely wasn't. I mean, I was kind of under the impression that Brian Ferentz is borderline incompetent, but at the same time, they're winning games despite that fact. And, just kind of push back on, because I know a lot of fans from an Iowa football perspective who are like the pessimists will kind of hear what you said in the beginning part of, they don't have the talent of some of these top teams. And then they'll say, well, look at how many NFL players are from Iowa. They're a top 10 program in terms of producing NFL talent, but you got to look at where that talent is originating from, right? It's offensive line, it's tight end, it's defensive line, it's safety play, and it's kind of in the cornerback section as well, and then linebacker. Those are great positions. And yes, they do go, and they are in the NFL in terms of position play, but they're not premier positions. I mean, look at how many quarterbacks have been successful from the Iowa program under Kirk Ferentz's tutelage, running backs, wide receivers. You're hard pressed to find those those types of talent. So to kind of push back on what Iowa fans might critique when what you're saying, yes, they produce talent, just not at the spots you need to be successful in college football.
Yeah, but I would say they are successful. You know what I mean? Like, this is a success story to me. Like, if you asked, I would be willing to bet, if you were to say, if you were to rattle off whatever this win percentage would be since 2001, because his first 2 years were a building. They were 4-19 in his first 2 years, but ever since 2001, when he turned that corner, whatever win percentage that would be, I didn't do the math because I just don't do math. I've never done math. And you asked all the programs in the nation, short of, like, I would say probably about 14 programs, that I think they would sign up for that deal right now.
Yeah.
I think even UCLA would sign up for that deal, and they're in Los Angeles where there's a ton of talent. I just feel like it's crazy talk. It's absolutely crazy talk. He just played for the Big Ten championship the year prior, and they're saying they should, like, I don't know if you can do your job better. You know what I mean? I don't know. I get it. You can make the offense better, but with the offense, comes bad defense. What team were we just previewing, Patty C, where we saw them have a
Iowa State?
No. But we saw them in the past couple of days. We were previewing a team that, Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern decided to go air raid last year. They go air raid after running the triple option, and they go 6-7. They still did beat Nebraska at Nebraska, but 6-7.
Throwing that out there.
I'm not even making the point that they had a losing season. I'm making the point that they went from a strong defensive team to one of the worst in all of college football. And we've always said that, like, having that jump of going from, like, bringing in this, the current state of things where everyone wants to go air raid or something similar to that. I think you suffer defensively from that. Your toughness of your team goes away. So,
yeah, I mean, you're playing a different style of football. If you're looking at, football as how many yards do you gain, but you lose control of the clock. Maybe focus on the positive. What is their clock control compared to other teams? I'm sure it's one of the best in the nation, if I had to guess.
And their fucking punter is like, he might be the greatest football player ever.
That's that ghost yardage that people don't really pay attention to that keeps Iowa so in the mix, is that they can flip the field on you. Like, no other college football teams are doing it. So, yeah, maybe Iowa's not really killing time of possession because they go 3 and out half the time. But when you got a punter booming it exactly where it needs to be every single time, and he's not kicking out of the back of the end zone, I mean, that's a weapon, truly.
You got a field goal kicker that barely ever misses. You got a defense that creates turnovers. Maybe the point is not to be good on offense because you're strengthening the other parts of your team.
Well, especially when your
maybe
defense
your
can
offense
score.
is your defense and special teams. Chestnut checkers, Patty. Yeah,
right.
exactly. Look, folks, we're going to talk all about it. We're going to talk about the transfer portal, the offense, the defense. Believe it or not, this year they actually made some transfer moves. I feel like a couple years ago we previewed them with nothing. It's like it's a show about nothing. But folks, I want to tell you that the Iowa Hawkeyes 2023 season preview is brought to you by Circa Sports. Circa Millions and Circa Survivor are back. $14 million in guaranteed prizes are up for grabs. Look, Circa Millions has that contest is 5 NFL picks, ATS, each and every week. And the winner takes just a gigantic bundle of cash home. Same with Circa Survivor. Just pick a different moneyline winner each and every week. Can't pick the same team twice, just like in any other Survivor pool. Enter in Las Vegas. Play from anywhere. Look, and the SGPN crew will be out there the last weekend in August. Once again, circasports.com for all the details. Circasports.com. What would you do if you won $14 million? Maybe you donate to the Fire Brian Ferentz Club. I don't know. But either way, check it out, circasports.com for all the details. All right, we are back on the college football experience, talking Iowa Hawkeyes football. Personally, my favorite. See, here's what I don't want. Here's why I'm very mad at Wisconsin, and I hope they go 0-12. Is one of the things I love about college football as opposed to the NFL. See, there's this movement to make college football like the NFL, and I hate that. I would like to burn that movement down, because we've already seen them come for the cut blocks the past 2 years, especially this year. You got Army out of the shotgun. Air Force is going to be out of the shotgun, and Navy, I'm unsure. I have to talk to someone over there at Navy, but it seems to be that's the way it's going because of the rule changes. What sold me on college football was, well, I love the history, the fact they invented the sport, and the pageantry, sure. The fan bases, everything about that's fantastic. But I like contrast in styles. And I remember Mike Leach telling us, we were interviewing Mike Leach once, and I asked him if he ever wanted to go pro, like coaching the pros. And he said he has zero interest. He says, because, are you even a coach? He referenced Cliff Kingsbury, his old quarterback, where he was deemed a head coach, but didn't hire the special teams or defensive coordinator. He was just a glorified OC for the Cardinals. And he said there's minimal innovation going on in the pro game. And I completely agree. And one of the things I don't want to see is everyone be the same. And I feel like there's this movement to turn all of college football into the same. Part of what I love is being able to watch Air Force take on a Mike Leach team, triple option versus air raid, or in the Big Ten West scenario. It's like watching a game in 1950. And I appreciate that. Yeah. Some of the world gets mad at that, but I do want to see a South Dakota State Iowa game where 2 safeties and a field goal win you the fucking game. All right. I think that's fantastic. and I love contrast and styles. So this movement, when I see Wisconsin go to the air raid, I'm fearful that if they're successful, all the Big Ten West teams will eventually end up there, and then I will end up on a bridge screaming at people.
Well, that's already happening.
But you get my point, right?
Yeah, no, of course. It's way better when there's a variety of things to watch, and especially when like the old school NFL used to have, the identity of the state and the people within it is represented well by the system that they run. In college basketball, the same thing. NBA, they trade coaches every year. It doesn't matter what they
even have coaches in the
NBA.
Yeah,
LeBron's the head coach of every team in the NBA.
They just hire a guy to wear a suit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, sit there and call timeouts occasionally. Look, my point is, I don't know. I mean, look, we could go down this rabbit hole, but I love the fact. What'd you just talk? We just did the Iowa State preview earlier. Sorry, Iowa fans. We did Iowa State too. So if you're listening, you want to know about the enemy, go listen to that one. But Cornfield defense, Cornfield offense.
Cornfield defense and Cornfield offense are two very different things. Cornfield defense, 3 of the top 4 defenses in the country are from either Iowa or Illinois. So
yeah. I mean, I love it. I love it. Look, the portal though, over the past few years, and by the way, Iowa hosts 5 national champions, 5-time national champion. You got to go back to, they're out there. All right, go check the years. We got it all there, whether it's 1890 or 1921, 1922, 1957, 1958. If you are not claiming all of those, we are a publication. You can call Pick Dundee, and I will fill out whatever paperwork to deem you national champions. Own that shit, put it up
we'll
there.
We'll send you the banners.
It holds just as much merit as Alabama quoting the the
Tuscaloosa Inquirer.
The weekend newspaper in Tuscaloosa deeming them national champions and then putting them up on their billboards
in 1933.
Yeah. So anyway, look, in the portal though, they actually have movement. We got movement here. This is a rare thing. But quarterback Alex Padilla, he's gone to SMU. I'm actually shocked at that. Wait, so Iowa quarterback's going to go be a part of the air raid. That is a bit shocking to me. Quarterback Carson.
Future in sales.
I'm very confused. Yeah. Quarterback Carson May hit the JUCO route. Running back Gavin Williams, I remember him. Northern Illinois, Thomas Hammock landing him. Wide receiver Arlen Bruce goes to Oklahoma State. Same with wide receiver Keegan Johnson. So both those receivers probably saw, what's my guy's name from Purdue? Oh, I'm drawing a blank. White guy from Purdue that just lit it up last year.
Charlie Jones?
Yes, Charlie Jones. And they're like, hey, wait, we can do this elsewhere? So I understand that angle. Tight end Elijah Yelverton is in the portal. Hasn't landed anywhere. Same with offensive lineman Justin Britt. Offensive lineman Josh Volk goes to Northern Iowa. He's going to go up gonna go to the FCS route. Defensive lineman Isaiah Bruce. Isaiah Bruce was a St. Louis Ram. Big difference. He's in the portal. Linebacker Justin Jacobs goes to the Oregon Ducks. Cornerback Terry Roberts to the Miami Hurricanes, and safety Dallas Credith to Kent State. I'm probably butchering your name, Dallas, but look, I'm an idiot. That's okay. Cornerback Reggie Bracey goes to Troy, the Trojans. Now, incoming. See, normally you would have people leave, but Ferentz normally would just be like, we don't need anybody. All right. Wow, they got a little aggressive.
Made some scores.
They got a little aggressive. Linebacker Nick Jackson comes in from Virginia. The Virginia defense was pretty solid last year. I like that get, Patty C.
I don't.
Oh yeah, you're a Wahoo fan. So offensive tackle Dejon Parker from Saginaw Valley College. They're going deep. Sending the scouting department to Saginaw. Offensive guard Rusty Feth from Miami, Ohio. And then these are the big ones, I feel like. Tight end Erick All from Michigan. Is a big-time recruit there. Same with quarterback Cade McNamara from Michigan. They also got quarterback Deacon Hill from Wisconsin. This is what I imagine Alex Padilla should have done. Deacon Hill's like, they're moving to the air raid. Fuck this. Look, I don't have that type of arm. Right? I don't have that type of accuracy. Just get me on something simple, something vanilla. And now he heads down to Iowa City. Grading the portal, guys. I'm curious. I would say since you landed your starting quarterback in most of any of these scenarios, I think we just did this Indiana preview a couple days ago, and we thought the same thing. If you can land your starting quarterback, I think you win the transfer portal. Now, I get it. They got hit pretty bad at receiver and running back and a couple of the guys on the defense. But I don't ever fear them not having great defensive players. They get Nick Jackson too. And I would say they won the portal between all Jackson and McNamara. I think that spells out win. You?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, all a 4-star recruit, 4-star transfer. That's huge. You get your quarterback and you get a stud in Nick Jackson. You bring in 3 studs, really. So
yeah, and who knows? For all I know, their scouting department's probably great, and Dejon Parker from Saginaw Valley College is going to be the best offensive tackle ever. But Rob, would you say they won the transfer portal or lost the transfer portal?
It was definitely a win because a lot of the guys who did leave weren't even contributing last year. I mean, you look at Johnson, he missed the entire season for the most part with an injury. Then you kind of look at Terry Roberts, same thing. And you kind of go down the list, and there's not a lot of guys who were not the NFL guys who are really going to be missed. Even Arlen Bruce, who knows if he even plays college football this next season because of he got caught up in the sports betting type of thing. But we'll see how that all plays out.
We're not going to shame him. Arlen Bruce, please reach out if you want to do a podcast. You are more than welcome to come on this podcast, and we might even be able to find a way to do your own show. Anyway, I'm sorry. Continue, Rob. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, but you know what's kind of interesting too is the roster turnover on defense this year in particular, as opposed to the last 10 years, I think is the biggest, because you look at Jack Campbell, you look at Seth Benson, you look at Justin Jacobs, there's your starting 3 linebackers just gone. They're all in the NFL or they're off to Oregon if you're Justin Jacobs in that instance. Then you also lost Lucas Van Ness and John Wagner on the defensive line. Then you lost Riley Moss, an NFL draft pick, Terry Roberts to the portal, and Kayvon Merriweather to the NFL too. So you're talking about a bunch of dudes that are lost. And the last time we really saw this, and this is where a lot of people are kind of not overly concerned because, again, Phil Parker's a mad genius and this is still Iowa football. But the last time this really happened like this was that 2012 season where they lost Christian Kirksey, James Morris, and so on and so forth. And it just felt like they were introducing a whole new group. That's kind of what's happening this year. Although there are some familiar names, they weren't the most impactful last season other than Cooper DeJean. So kind of an interesting look when you're talking about that defense specifically.
Should we be a little worried, Patty C? I don't know.
Again, this is where, we're a little reliant on the publications as far as, letting us know who a returning starter truly is. I guess the number of snaps varies from publication to publication in terms of what determines what a returning starter is. It looks like on our paper, that they're returning a lot. We're seeing 18 returning starters?
Yeah. 18 returning starters, but I mean, once again, some of that can be
deceiving.
I don't know what they deem. What is a returning starter? Do you play 3 games? Do you play 4?
Yeah,
is it almost like the transfer portal shit? You play red shirt 4 games. I don't know. But offensively, let's talk about this Brian Ferentz thing, because this is gonna be fucking entertaining all year long. Let's be honest. They're must-watch TV each and every week.
We should do a point prediction per game to see if he's gonna keep his job.
I just love this. I want Ferentz calling timeouts up 30-0 on Utah State with 30 seconds left to run out the field goal team to make it 33-0. I want to see this from a gambling perspective and from just a fan of college football. But they were the 122nd scoring offense a year ago, 123rd rush offense a year ago, 122nd pass offense a year ago, and 129 total offense a year ago. But what are numbers when you still have a winning season? Brian Ferentz in the offseason, the fans wanted him fired. I'm pretty sure he probably has the house on the market, if I had to guess. So they wrote into the contract. I guess Kirk Ferentz and Gary Barta, who's leaving now, that they must average at least 25 points a game, which is fucking hilarious.
It's stupid.
It is stupid because the goal is to win the game, not to score. You can win a lot. Obviously, they are proof of winning a lot of games.
They're going to fucking lose a game this year because they're trying to score points when they should be playing, doing what they do.
Or something.
Exactly.
what do you make of this? And do you think it's achievable for Brian Ferentz? I know we haven't rattled off the returning production yet, but just off the top of your head or your own personal feeling, obviously being a fan of Iowa and a graduate from there.
So many different ways you can go with this when we talk about Iowa's offense. Well, first off, there was a lot of speculation this offseason that Brian Ferentz might actually be bouncing to New England when Bill O'Brien got hired because of their history and because of his O-line coach track record out there. So that was kind of like the glimmering hope of maybe, we can actually, perform like a top 90 offense in a give and take year. But when you kind of look at the makeup of everything, this offense can't be worse. One, that was definitely in the last 10 years the worst offensive line Iowa's had last season. I mean, they were not even remotely in the consideration for a Joe Moore Award when they have been every year prior. And they were working in a lot of young guys and a lot of transfers, and it never worked. They could never figure out either tackle spot. And so now you kind of look at what they have this year, and it's a lot of returning guys, but now they're in year 3 and year 4, and they did add Rusty Feth and Dejon Parker, who are pretty well renowned in the transfer portal. A lot of big time offers. And Rusty Feth, I don't know if you guys have seen a picture of this dude. Scandinavian Viking. I mean, this guy is terrifying to look at. And I'm excited. It's finally they're kind of filling in the gaps and attacking the transfer portal the way they probably should have the past couple years. But I'm feeling a little bit optimistic, especially when you're talking about a drastic upgrade at quarterback too.
Yeah, and I'm just sorry. Rusty Feth is currently on my computer screen, but yes, everyone should do that. And let's talk a little bit about this offense because Cade McNamara is back. I'm sorry, he's back in college football. He was with the Michigan Wolverines.
Kind of not in college football last year.
Led him to the playoff the year before, though.
Yeah.
So you got a playoff caliber quarterback. You got Deacon Hill coming in from Wisconsin. You still got Joey Labas. And don't forget the legend of Spencer Petras. He's still on the Hawkeyes, buried on this depth chart that I'm looking at here at 4th. What's going on there? All right. Now,
serious demotion.
Well, just I don't know. I feel like the 25 points thing, they probably blamed it on Spencer. But running back wise, Kaleb Johnson. I thought this guy was pretty fucking good. And I think they got something here with him. I know they have LaShawn Williams backing him up too. How do you feel like the backfield? I think is going to be probably McNamara's going to give him just enough moxie. Who was the last quarterback as good as Cade McNamara at Iowa? I'm trying to think. Obviously, the first thing I think about.
Beathard.
Yeah, CJ Beathard. Okay, because I was thinking about I remember when they had the really good seasons, they had Brad Banks. A while ago. We're talking 20 years ago, but a mobile quarterback with a defense and special teams like that, I feel like is all you really
even a
need,
mobile because
right?
I don't even know that I would consider him mobile.
Brad Banks?
No, not Brad Banks.
Oh.
The Michigan guy.
Oh no, I don't consider him mobile. I'm just saying that would always be to me if I was Ferentz. That's the one thing I would go.
Well, yeah, I think it's obvious that they have played conservative. They've done the same thing Wisconsin's done at the quarterback position. It's just let me get a game manager, right? When Jake Rudock went from Iowa to Michigan, he was kind of that. Michigan's offense didn't explode.
This is 2.0 here.
I'm saying, this is the reverse, but I think it's the reverse is Michigan has gone for somewhat better players, and sometimes it didn't really work out. Brandon Peters went from Michigan, didn't do that much,
to Illinois.
Illinois. But I think God, now I'm drawing a blank on his
McNamara.
McNamara has some skills, and he's got some moxie. He's got some wheels, and overall he's got enough that it's going to be a different.
I feel like he's a little more athletic.
He's no Russell Wilson, but you saw what happened when Wisconsin went to a dude that could actually. They were okay, the best year they ever had.
He's like Jack Cohn. I'm fucking with you. No, I think this is
actually not that bad of a comparison.
I think McNamara is better than Cohn. What do you make of the backfield between McNamara, Kaleb Johnson, LaShawn Williams, and obviously you actually do have quarterback depth now. Deacon Hill, Labas, Petras. I feel like I don't know if Hill started games, but the other guys have started games, so you got a little bit of that. What do you make of the backfield?
Yeah, Kaleb Johnson is that dude. I mean, one, it took him multiple weeks to really kind of lean into him because he was so young. He was a true freshman last season, and it's just kind of in Kirk Ferentz's dojo. You're not really going to get a lot of playing time as a true freshman. And what Kaleb Johnson finally did when injuries started to pile up in front of the guys or the guys in front of him is that he really exploded. I mean, you look at the Northwestern game, yeah, they were awful, but he just made so many plays, and it was undeniable at that point that he should be getting at least 10 touches per game. And now it's solidified that he is going to be that guy and one of the better running backs that Iowa's had in a long time, in my opinion. So that's definitely a nice little spot to be in for we're talking about Iowa, and LaShawn Williams behind him is a good spell back too. Then you look at Cade McNamara, and you guys have been saying it. He's not super athletic, but he is functionally mobile. And you look at Spencer Petras in every single year that he was under center, he was straight line fast, but when it came to throwing on the run, there was nobody worse in college football. I'm pretty positive about that. This guy, he made it look incredibly difficult. Like I don't know, he was trying to do like sabermetrics or I don't know, some kind of weird calculus out there. It was horrible. He was just like gunning it to the sideline last second, and of course, Iowa's wide receivers aren't going to make an incredible play. And he didn't throw with an anticipation because he just knew he could laser it in there. And now you're going from that to a guy who actually can throw on the run, whose main strengths are touch and anticipation. And I'm excited. I think that it's going to open up Iowa's offense even more, even though we're probably only going to see the same four staples over and over again. Just they're going to be a lot more successful.
I think so too. And you got Nico. How do I pronounce the guy's name again?
Ragaini.
Yeah, I fucked this up all year last year. He's back at the wide receiver spot. Kaleb Brown comes in from Ohio State. They brought in an Ohio State wide receiver.
Well, someone in that receiver room is going to get left out of the rotation.
How did they sell him on that? Shout out to that. Look, have you been to Iowa City, Kaleb? Let's go there and catch 3 balls a season. No, I'm joking, but bringing in an Ohio State guy, I don't give a shit if he was working the water jug. Like,
yeah,
that's
just being around that receiver room makes you better. And real quick about Petrie, what you said about him having straight line speed, I'm not gonna let you get away with that. That is he is one of the least athletic quarterbacks I've ever seen. Negative 294 rushing yards for his career.
He's a Hawkeye. He's a Hawkeye. All right.
He was getting sacked a lot. Okay.
McNamara has 3 rushing yards.
Like maybe Petra's bought him a beer at the bar. Who knows, right? Come on.
Sorry. Anyway, back to the receiving core.
The receiving core, no, with those 2 wideouts, and then the tight ends. You gotta love the tight ends. Erick all coming in from Michigan, Big Ten recruit there. And then Luke Lachey, that is the son of Jim Lachey, legendary tackle from Ohio State and won a Super Bowl with the Washington Redskins.
Well, that screams because Erick even though he was from Michigan and they run heavy, 2 tight end packages all the time, he still seems like a pass first kind of tight end. You got to figure Lachey. Yeah, that's your run first tight end right there. Yeah.
This team is beautiful. When I look at this team, I mean, come on. Offensive line, you alluded to Rusty Feth. He is penciled in the starter at the right guard spot. They bring back center Logan James, also left guard Nick DeJong, and right tackle and left tackle. So right tackle is Jennings Dunker. Left tackle's Mason Richmond. They're all back. They also have a little bit of depth as far as we touched on Dejon Parker. Also Connor Colby has got some starts before. Great name, by the way. Bo Stevens as well. So I get it. The offensive line was bad last year, but they got a lot of depth now. So you gotta like this offense. Patty C, I'm getting excited. And how can we mention offense without not mentioning the greatest offensive player in Iowa? Well, arguably Iowa football history. Kicker Drew Stevens. He is back, and he is absolutely, dude. He was 16 as a freshman. He comes waltzing in. And he goes 16 of 18 from field goals, long of 54, doesn't miss an extra point. I mean, second team all Big Ten as a freshman, Patty C. Who are we looking at here? This is fucking Pete Stoyanovich 2.0. Right. What do you make of the offense? And I mean, I guess I've kind of asked you this. You're already excited about this, but the O-line should be a strong suit don't you think? Even though they were
Bad
not great last year.
Yeah, I really do, because one, you kind of look at one of the guys that you mentioned, Connor Colby. That was a borderline 5-star that Iowa brought in in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, which is like about 30 minutes away from Iowa City. So it's kind of like the homegrown talent aspect. And last year, they really tried to make him the right tackle. He went from guard his true freshman year to last year being the right tackle, and it was a disaster. I mean, for whatever reason, just didn't click. And he went from a really all Big Ten caliber guard to a awful right tackle, and they could just never fill that spot. And so now when they are just kind of letting him sit into that guard spot, I think you're inherently just boosting that up quite a bit. And then you mentioned the transfers that came in, the guys developing in Iowa's system, which is always going to produce offensive line talent. And then when you talk about the 2 tight ends, Luke Lachey and Erick All, you're talking about probably another Iowa Hawkeye duo that could potentially be 2 first-round picks. Luke Lachey is a really good athlete, a freak athlete, I would even say. It's more so than Sam Laporta this past season, more so on the level of a George Kittle. And he does, like Patty C mentioned, have that blocking acumen to him where he can really just grind some people down and get to the second level and open up running lanes. So when you're also mixing in Erick All and those mesh patterns and even just attacking the seam, I think this could be a dangerous duo for Iowa's offense.
If people don't know, Jim Lachey, Luke's dad, for a solid 4 or 5 years in the NFL, he was the best left tackle in the league. You know what I mean? Like in the league. So obviously comes from great football pedigree. Don't you love this, Patty C? Double tight end set all day. This is Iowa football, baby. Don't fuck this up. Don't fuck this up, guys. Over 25 points. Maybe.
All right, 17 or so, 17.9 last year, I think it was.
Yeah.
Luke Lachey, by the way, a handsome son of a gun. One of the most all-American looking kids I've ever seen out there. This is what Iowa football is all about.
Where do you want me to go with that one?
I just say, hey, if you have a daughter, maybe send her to Iowa.
Yeah, send her to old Iowa. Yeah, maybe that's an angle for recruiting. Kaleb Brown, you got a daughter?
That's right.
But he's then again, he's a redshirt freshman, so his daughter's probably 4.
You got a well-mannered, NFL bound tight ends galore in Iowa. Send your daughters, corn-fed breeding. Let's go.
Let's fucking go. All right, let's talk about the defensive side of the ball. All right, and that's what I love about this whole 25 points a game. Patty C, you could say the defense called off the dog some. I think they might be able to achieve this on defense, 25 points a game, knowing Iowa, the way they play in their special teams, safeties, fumble returns.
Cooper DeJean himself might be on
DeJean, yes. Look, defense, they were the number 2 scoring defense in the nation, so there's room to get better. And the rush defense was 11th. The pass defense was 6th. The total defense was 2nd. I don't understand what the problem here is. It's like you got a great winning formula. Anyway, the defense, as Rob alluded to, there's more pieces gone than a traditional Iowa football year, I think. But the D-line returns 3 of 4. Joe Evans at the right end, right tackle Logan Lee back, and same with left tackle Noah Shannon. And I think you have to be happy with that. I think the one thing they're counting on is Deontay Craig at the left end spot. Who's played in 24 games and he had 8 sacks the last 2 years. So I'm not stressing this. I'm not stressing the defensive line. Now the linebacker play, Nick Jackson comes in and they're going to be counting on a sophomore and Jay Higgins. That is, I think, where we circle that. Yes, they still have Sebastian Castro at the nickelback spot. The secondary, though, yes, you are breaking in. You're returning 2 of 4. Cooper DeJean, first team all Big Ten. DeJean, I don't fucking know. Free safety Quinn Schultz is back, and they are breaking in a new strong safety and right corner. I think this defense will be fine. Is that just me? I know you're closer to the Iowa team than perhaps myself or Patty C, but I just don't stress out about Iowa defense. I understand that one bad year, 2012, but I just feel like, especially I feel like more they kind of play a brand of ball that I feel like it's becoming more and more rare in college football. So from an offense and a defense perspective. So I think that even makes them more, how do I say this? The opportunity for them to be more consistent as opposed to, say, 10, 11 years ago, year in, year out. What do you make of the whole defense, though, Rob?
Yeah, I think on the defensive line and in the secondary, this is as talented as last year, if not even more so talented, because you talked about the guy who they're breaking in at strong safety, Xavier Nwankpa. That was a 5-star recruit a couple years back, and he even got playing time last year as a true freshman. TJ Hall, who's behind him at the cornerback spot and kind of a safety, kind of hybrid. We'll see what ends up happening with him. Got another borderline 5-star guy, high 4-star ranking guy, got a lot of playing time early. And then Jamari Harris, similar kind of thing. When he's gotten playing time in the past, he's really performed well. But this is the first time in a very long time where there hasn't been a homegrown heir apparent in that linebacker group. For a while, it was just the next man up. You had this freak athlete sitting behind a Josie Jewell, and then you got Jack Campbell, and then you got somebody else on top of that. Now it's, the guy in that group is Nick Jackson, who's a transfer in. It's going to be interesting because at some points last season, the run defense really actually did suffer. That was like one of the first years where they really didn't have a true nose tackle in the middle, and they still don't. So they were really relying on their linebacker play. And when they got banged up, we saw them get gashed for 130 yards plus per game on the ground, which is very not Iowa-like, even though that's kind of a standard in college football across the board. But I do think they're athletic. I do think they can fly around the ball, and it's just really going to come down to how that linebacking group performs.
Yeah, and we should highlight, Patty C, that the god, Tory Taylor, is back at punter. All right. They're going to be
He led the nation in total punting yards and in total punts. So
they're going to be
still one of the leaders in top 20 in yards per punt. So, yeah, that is a pivotal guy to have. Let me say this about Nick Jackson. You might have lost Jack Campbell, 125 tackles last year, but Nick Jackson, last 3 years, 103, 117, 104 tackles. Guy's got 352 career tackles. That's the kind of experience, like, if you can't grow it in your system, it's nice to be able to plug that in.
Yeah, he reminds me of a guy who's a fan of the program and Scooby Wright. So I am excited to have Nick Jackson on the defense, and I do think he's going to at least be the bridge while some of these younger guys develop behind him.
Yeah, and I just feel like this is a fine-tuned machine. It's a fine-tuned machine. The offense will put up 7 points. Defense will give up 3. And this is a win. Everyone should be happy. All right. I feel like this. Come on, the fans should be happy. You won the game. Right. You go out. You want to see the win.
Yeah. How can these casuals be a soccer fan and see a 7-3 game in soccer would be the most entertaining game of all time? In football, apparently, it's unwatchable.
Is soccer thriving in Iowa? I don't know that it is, but maybe. Look, folks, we're gonna go game by game on the schedule and talk about the Iowa Hawkeyes 2023 season. But before I do that, I want to tell you that the Iowa Hawkeyes 2023 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network and the College Football Experience is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, Best Ball Mania is here, and Underdog Fantasy is giving away $15 million in prizes. Underdog Pick'em is a great way to get down on your favorite MLB and NFL season player props. There's so many ways to win over on Underdog, and Underdog's available in so many different states. Head on over to Underdog.com. Use that promo code SGPN for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. And by the way, Underdog Fantasy does great college football props. I'm gonna fire off an email to see if I can get some props on Tory Taylor's punts, and because they do some great props. Maybe I can figure that out. Guys, I if you're hopefully watching on YouTube, if you are, youtube.com/the college experience. If not, subscribe. I just, sorry, when the middle of Patty C was talking and just like usual, I lost interest, and I had to message our graphics guy, because as you see this sweet graphic here, it looks great, but he has the win total at 5.5. And I said, what the fuck? I'm like, I was about to, so while you were talking, I went over to DraftKings and I was like, am I about to wager my whole life on the over on Iowa? And then I see, no, it's at 8. It's at 8. So shout out to Cam. He does a great job, but
mistook you guys for the Cyclones. Ouch.
Yeah. Cam Kerr, our graphics guy, looking a lot like the Iowa offense when it comes to designing the Iowa Hawkeyes artwork here. So it's not 5.5. So ignore that part. And it's 8. It's at 8 games. Patty C, before we dive into the schedule, what's your initial reaction? 8 games.
Over.
Yeah, me too. This is Old Faithful. I did think I saw it when me and Sean and Ryan did our Big Ten preview. I do believe this was 4 or 5 days ago that the number was 7.5. I thought we were using DraftKings, so I don't know if this went up a half. I do see the juice. The over is -115. The under is -105. So, let's hop into it. Or Rob, what would be your first reaction if you just saw 8 games? Would you lean over?
Yes. Yeah, I would. I think this is closer to a Big Ten West winner than a middle of the pack Big West team. So I would definitely lean towards the over.
Yeah, I completely agree. Week 1, Patty C. The Utah State Aggies. They won the Mountain West a couple years back. Blake Anderson. They come into Kinnick Stadium. Look, but they've gone finesse, Utah State. When they hired Blake Anderson, and I like Blake Anderson. I think he's a solid coach. But they used to be kind of a hard-nosed football team. They've kind of gone a little finesse. That doesn't play well when you play the Hawkeyes. Iowa, 24. Utah State, nothing. No, it's going to be 33-0. I already said this one. They're going to need to go over that 25 in this game for the next game. So what are you doing
Cade
here?
McNamara out saving Brian Ferentz's job.
What are you doing here? That's a lot of pressure to put on a quarterback.
I know, right?
What are you doing here, Patsy? You going with the dub?
That's a tougher task than winning a playoff game for old Cade McNamara. I'm going dub. Yeah.
Rob?
I'm going a big time dub. I think this is where Brian Ferentz's non-con schedule, gets that average up quite a bit heading into Big Ten play.
Yeah, and by the way, fuck you guys. You guys have to say the score. And on this particular one, you have to say the score of the game.
Oh, see if they're getting it. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Patty C, what are you doing? Or Rob, you go first. Rob.
I'm going to sit 41-3. I think there's going to be a couple that I'm going to call like that, I think.
I got 33-0. Patty C?
I think this offense is going to explode out the gate. Let me say, and explode, I mean like 35. 35-7.
35-7. So 28, just 3 points above that average. Now they head to Jack Trice Stadium. Cy-Hawk Trophy on the line in Ames, Iowa. Go listen to our Iowa State preview. It might make you want to vomit as a Hawkeye fan, but I kind of think the Cyclones are going to be pretty good this year. And I like their defense. So I actually think this is going to be one. I called for Iowa to win, and I called it. You can go listen to the Iowa State one. I said Iowa's going to beat them. But I do think this score will be 13-9. So now we're looking at a solid 46 points on the season. But give me a 13-9 Iowa Hawkeyes win. Patty C, what's your score here in Ames?
Thereabouts. I was going to say like 14-13. Look, the number 2 and the number 4 defenses in the country versus like the number 80 something and the number 128 offenses in the country. It's going to be a slugfest.
Yeah.
14-13 seems generous, quite frankly.
Rob, what are you doing here in Ames?
There are a few certainties every single college football season, but if there is one, is that this game will be ass, but it will be a magical display of assery. So I'm going to definitely go at 9-7. I'm going to take the Hawks with 3 field goals, and one of them is going to be the game winner.
Love it. I love games like that. I cannot wait for that. But now our average is a little fucked. So Ferentz is stressing out. He's going to be stressing out after that trip to Ames. We got the win, Dad, but I told you we need to score more points. You need to get the defense scoring more points, Dad. Then Saturday, September 16th, the Western Michigan Broncos come into Kinnick Stadium. This is a nice game because Western Michigan wasn't great last year, and they hired Lance Taylor, who's a brand new head coach, right? So Lance Taylor's coming in, and you want to get a new coach in September. This one, they pour it on. Ready for this one?
What do you got?
42-3. Let's fucking go.
Getting.
Let's go.
Awfully.
A couple pick sixes, maybe a kick return, block punt.
Sure.
That's
a good question. Does the offense need to score 25 points per game?
It's just points.
It's just the team.
It's just points, baby.
Western Michigan only gave up 24 points per game last year, but I do have Iowa beating that. Give me 37 of 4, so 37-8.
They go for two late.
Yeah.
They score and go for two late. I like it. Rob, what are you doing here against the Broncos of Western Michigan?
Listen, back in 2013, I went to an Iowa Western Michigan game at Kinnick Stadium, and somehow the Jake Rudock-led Hawkeyes won 59-3. I'm gonna be conservative here and say they're gonna win 49-3 this time.
I like it.
Energy.
Like it. He's gonna be watching that tape. Both the Ferentz are gonna be watching that tape a lot this summer. That might be the most viewed fucking film in their household. Saturday, September 23rd, they jump down to Beaver Stadium, take Penn State. Everyone's crowned at Penn State national champs. I feel like you look at Todd Blackledge back at quarterback, they say, with Drew Allard. Never seen Drew Allard play much, and everyone's saying he's the next coming to Todd Blackledge. Patty C. This is a sneaky game for me. This is a sneaky game for me because Penn State is at Illinois the week before, and everyone has deemed that the trap game. I disagree. I think this is the trap game. I remember that 6-4 outing. You remember that one? 6-4 in State College.
Beautiful.
Okay, I'll buy the hype on Penn State, but damn it, this is going to be close. 20-17, Penn State gets it done.
I guess if I have to have Iowa losing a game, which they probably will, this would be it. But last time in State College, they won by 20 in 2020. So I don't know. I think it's folly to assume.
What's Franklin's record against Penn State? He had that one touchdown in the last second in the back of the end zone in Iowa City. I remember that.
I think he's done pretty well.
Yeah.
Actually, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2. But the losers of the last 2 in a row.
Damn, he's been there that long?
Yeah, I think so. I'm going Penn State, I guess.
Okay, Rob, what are you doing here at Beaver Stadium?
So I'll actually be at this game, so I'm hoping that we can see a Hawkeyes winner, but I am going to go Penn State 17-13. That's how I'm feeling.
There we go, folks. Go out there, hit up Rob. Go do some Jaeger bombs with him in the parking lot.
Let's do it.
All right. Yeah, there we go. Then on Saturday, September 30th, Tuck coming, Petty C. It's coming to the unemployment line with $100 million. Well, I don't know. He doesn't need unemployment. I like to talk shit because, come on.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Mel Tucker.
Oh, Tuck coming. Yeah, Mel Tucker. Sorry. I don't know. You just start saying these words and I'm a little slow on the uptake. Sometimes.
Michigan State loses to Iowa. You ready for this one? 20-3. 20-3.
Doesn't sound that far from what you would expect. I think Michigan State will be better, but I still don't think they'll be as good as Iowa. And I think in Iowa City, maybe 17-7.
Rob, what are you doing here in Kinnick?
I'm going to take the Hawks, and similar to what Patty C said, I'm taking 21-3. I think this also is supposed to be the blackout game, if I'm not mistaken, which is going to be a night game, and it's going to be electric. And yeah, I don't think Michigan State's going to move the ball particularly well.
Yeah, I agree, and I love doing this score thing. It has me so excited to watch Iowa football this year. Okay, the very next week, Ryan Walters, my boy, former Colorado Buffalo safety. Year one, though, in West Lafayette, and he's got to head into Kinnick. No.
This hasn't
it's
been
homecoming
as big of a problem for Purdue as you would think. I want to say winners of 4 of the last 6
stops now
against the Hawkeyes.
Stops now.
Now, again, we were contemplating whether the air raid or whatever they've been running in Purdue.
They haven't been running the air
pass
raid.
happy system. Might be the kryptonite against Iowa since no one they rarely face that. But I do think Iowa gets it.
I'm taking this one to the next level. There's going to be heavy rain, and Iowa wins.
Yeah, and I don't think Purdue is going to be running that anymore, are they? With Walters?
No, they're running air raid with Graham Harrell. They're running Graham Harrell.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's disgusting. 2 teams now have been infected with air raid in the. Then I love the air raid. We love Mike Leach, but not. I don't want every fucking school. I don't want all 133 teams running the fucking air raid. All right. So. You ready for this one? This is the one. Downpour. 15-6. 15-6.
And Ferentz is sweating.
What are you doing here, Fatty C?
Give me 23-10 Iowa.
Rob, what are you doing in the homecoming? And will you be at this one too?
I might be at this one. This might be one I go to, but if it's raining, I'll probably just go to a bar and watch it from there. But I'm thinking the same thing along like the lines you guys are in terms of this being ugly. I'm going 21-15 Hawkeye winner. Purdue just somehow gives Iowa hell under Kirk Ferentz. I don't get it.
Yeah, I think they kind of look ahead because they were down some of those years, but not this year. All right, and then the big one here, Saturday, October 14th. Please, football gods, dear football gods, dear everyone out there, Jim Thorpe, everybody, please win this game. So, look, Iowa comes into Madison. They jump around into a victory. All right, they go to Camp Randall. You ready for this one? Offensive. Look, Wisconsin will be going up against the air raid in practice. They're not ready for the explosion.
That Cade McNamara's crew is going to be
34-24 Iowa wins. This is the big one. This is a big one. Above that 25 points. Let's go.
Is this the game that Cade McNamara explodes?
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Jim Leonard's gone, buddy.
Yeah, those air raid offenses often, Luke Fickell, not one to have a soft ass defense typically, but year one running that air raid.
Yeah,
maybe
he's also never
changed.
ran the air raid.
That's true.
So what are you doing here, Petty C?
Give me 16-13 Iowa in Madison.
Yeah, let's go. Rob, what are you doing at in Madison here against the Badgers?
What's funny is in years past, this over-under would be sitting at 32, and I don't think anybody would blink. We'll see how both of these offenses look coming into this game, but I'm going to take Wisconsin. Unfortunately, this is another team that just kind of owns the Kirk Ferentz Hawkeyes for whatever reason. It's a new look Wisconsin team, but I'm going to say 28-13. That's just how I'm feeling there too.
He's being an honest Hawkeye fan over there, but look, the Wisconsin running the air raid.
That's the morality of the cornfields right there. Just that's all American. They're not about self-promotion.
There's a list of terrible things that have happened in the world. Epstein Island, you can say Sandusky, Penn State. You could go a lot of things. Katrina, but one of them in the middle, somewhere in the middle there, is Wisconsin out of the air raid. So yeah, look, the world is not gonna be okay. The dude is not okay with. He does not abide.
That's sour milk, right?
Yes,
there.
this is not going to happen. The gods will strike down, and there's no way that Wisconsin wins this game. Next up, we got the Golden Gophers coming into Kinnick Stadium. PJ Fleck, he always says row the boat. Kirk Ferentz, he laughs at that little shitty boat. You know what I mean? Going around the moat. That is land of 10,000 lakes. Patty C.
No lakes in the cornfields, are there? You can't row that boat down in Iowa City.
Well, Flex never won.
In Iowa City?
He's never won against Ferentz at all.
Hello.
Can't come in. You can't take down Kirk Ferentz. And it ain't going to start now. Minnesota loses. And get this. I'm going to be right on that number. 25. 2 safeties. Right? Block punt, and then a real safety, right? So they're going to have 21, 3 touchdowns. We're going to get a block punt and a real safety in this game. And
maybe a punt return.
25-16. They get it done against the Golden Gophers. What are you doing here, Patty C?
All that rah stuff PJ Fleck does. We all know Kirk Ferentz's culture, a little subdued, it would be an understatement. But they're going to get the offense going against the Gophers. They're bringing the excitement, to Iowa City this game. 27-20 Hawkeyes.
I like it. Rob, what are you doing here?
Listen, PJ Fleck, the used car salesman of the Big Ten. This guy is such a fraud. I hate PJ Fleck. I hate this program under him. I don't care how much better they've gotten. I want the Hawkeyes to put it on them every single time they play. So give me 31-14 Hawkeyes, and I don't think this game is remotely close.
Let's go. So look, I only have him with one loss. heading into the bye week. And Ferentz they should already have a statue built of him and Brian. Fuck it, put the whole family up there, right? But they're gonna be loving him. All right, they're gonna be loving him here. And then comes this awesome. Yeah, I repeat, this is an awesome game. All right, because they're honoring the history of Wrigley Field. They've been playing college football games at Wrigley Field for a long time. People don't know that. Part of our history, guys, as Americans, is a lot of people say, oh, the MLB is the national pastime. Well, I'll have you know that college football is older than the MLB. And for a long, long fucking time, they played games at baseball stadiums, right? Some baseball stadiums that aren't like Ebbitt's that are gone. But they played at Fenway. They played at Yankee Stadium, the old Yankee Stadium. Ebbitt's, as I alluded to, a lot of great historical games have happened at baseball stadiums. So know your fucking history before I see any people complain about this shit. This is awesome. And they're playing Northwestern at Wrigley. Sign me up for watching every ounce of this game. And they're going to win this one. It's going to be, dude, Fitzgerald fucks with them a little bit. This is going to be a little nasty.
Mm-hmm.
This one is going to be, Patty C, 19-17. They get it done. They get it done against Northwestern at Wrigley. Maybe a last-second field goal on the dirt that is Wrigley. Love dirt on the field, too. What are you doing here, Patty C?
Let me tell you what. Northwestern has won 4 of the last 7 against Iowa. And
you calling for the upset?
I'm calling for the upset here.
I can see it. I can see it, dude.
I can see it too.
6 Wildcats.
I could see it. Look, I was looking, and I definitely think there might be an upset here coming on this stretch right here. Yeah. So it makes a lot of sense. Rob, what are you doing?
Fitzgerald's due for at least something that gets the fans on board.
I love Pat Fitzgerald, and that's another one. If I have to listen to Stuart Mandel say they should consider firing Pat Fitzgerald, he turned down Notre Dame to stay at Northwestern. You fucking jackass.
No one else will ever do that.
What are you talking about?
Right.
Oh, he didn't even win a game in America. I don't care. He could go a decade without winning a game. He deserves to stay there.
Who's the guy at Northwestern that went to Notre Dame before? Was it Erick Parsegian, I think it was?
Was it him?
I think so. Yeah, that's what happens when a great Northwestern coach goes to Notre Dame. They win national championships.
Dude, the outrage is ridiculous on that. Anyway, okay. Wait, Rob, did I get your opinion on this one? No, I'm hogging the mic. My apologies.
No. And I agree. Pat Fitzgerald, there's nobody in the planet Earth who could do the job he's done at Northwestern.
Yeah.
They were just in the Big Ten tournament or championship game 3 years ago, right?
I know.
What are we talking about here? People are so delusional.
The portal hurts these schools even more because they don't care about football. So, like, what do you want the guy to do? Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a nerd colony out there. I mean, how many people are you expecting to get in terms of talent? Come on, y'all. I mean, geez. But this game, whoever drew it up for a Wrigley game in November between Iowa and Northwestern was trying to see the under set at 11. And I'm going to hammer it. I'm going to take the score to be 6-4 with 5 safeties.
Yes, another 6-4, folks. Go follow us on Twitter at TCE on SGPN because I did tweet out a couple weeks ago the 6-4 win at Penn State by the Iowa Hawkeyes. One of my favorite moments in college football. So yeah, it's gonna be probably what you got a like 4-3 mid fourth, and then just an epic 13-yard drive by Iowa for a field goal.
I think what happens is Northwestern gets down the field with 20 seconds to go, and they miss a 28-yard field goal to win the game. Yeah. That's just kind of how it feels.
I like it. Okay, the very next week, November 11th, the Golden Guido comes in to Kinnick. Oh, man, Greg Schiano in Iowa City. Why do I feel like Rutgers is going to be better this year? I feel like Rutgers might sneak into a bowl game.
Well, you figure they've been building. They've been recruiting okay. Eventually, Schiano is going to get it going.
I think it's a big year for him.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen in Kinnick though. And folks are going to be talking about Iowa with one loss. Are they going to be in the CFP? Right? Are they going to be in the CFP because they beat Rutgers 23-12? Still, he's not hitting that 25. I don't think. But they're going to be sitting there at what 9-1 heading into the final 2 weeks of the season, Patty C. I know you got them at 8-2.
Rutgers, no. Oh, yeah, I do have them at 8-2.
Well, no, if they win this. If you have them winning this. Yeah.
Rutgers number 38 defense in the country. A lot better than you would think. So another defense is fest. I'm with you. They beat them, but the score is low. Give me 24-10.
24-10. Okay.
Yeah.
Rob, what are you doing here when the Scarlet Knights come into Kinnick?
Wow, Patty C, you and me, man. I'm also taking 24-10. I think this game feels in hand throughout the entire way, but Rutgers touchdown late, brings it within that 14, and all of a sudden it gets a little choppy, but I do think Iowa controls this one here.
Okay.
14 points, like Colby said, is 65 for a normal team. That's the most
you
secure
go down
lead
14
in
to Iowa, you might as well make plans to get the hell out of town.
Yeah.
Saturday, November 18th. Now, this game's perfect. See, Wisconsin, they're running from who they are. Do you remember what Brett Bielema did to Wisconsin last year, too? He fucked up Wisconsin last year. And thank you, Illinois, for going back to the true Big Ten West roots and hiring Brett Bielema.
Yeah, nicely
because
done.
This game is scary to me as a guy that wants Iowa to win the national championship. This is it, man. 24-21 overtime win, Illinois.
Oof.
24-21 overtime win, Illinois.
Ouch.
What are you doing here?
16-12 Hawkeyes.
Rob, what are you doing at Kinnick on November 18th?
I like you said, Colby, I do think this game worries the hell out of me. And I think this is the game where a last second drive, Iowa needs a touchdown. Can they get it type game? I don't think they get it. I'm going to take the Illini to win 24-20.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then the final game, Black Friday, they try to say this is the new rivalry. Look, I like
Nebraska
this
finally
game.
got them, right? Last year.
Did they?
Finally. It was ugly.
Yeah, 24-17.
Oh, okay. Well, this is in Memorial Stadium, which is I feel like every Big Ten stadium is playing this one at Memorial Stadium. Lincoln, Nebraska. They lost last week. It ruined their chances for the CFP. Matt Rule keeps the Cornhusker faithful excited as he becomes bowl eligible and beats the Iowa Hawkeyes 19-13.
Matt Rule reminds me of Matt Campbell in terms of the type of way he coaches to, find ways to make his offense go and get the most out of his players and make his team exciting with less talent than most teams that, are that exciting have. That said, they're not ready yet to beat Iowa. Iowa's going to get this done. Give me 23-16 Hawkeyes.
So you got them 10-2.
10-2.
I got them 9-3, but I have them nowhere near 25 points a game.
Yeah,
which makes me mad. But Rob, what do you got happening in Lincoln, Nebraska here?
I think Nebraska is just, I want them to be bad forever. And I don't buy last year's win over the Hawks. So I'm going to take Iowa 28-17. And I think the sellout streak that Nebraska claims to have, they're going to show up with a 3/4. Yeah, it's such BS, but
are you familiar with
it's going to be 3/4 full.
70s or something.
But they bought they're just claiming sellouts when they're not sellouts. And you have someone buying the tickets that's not.
Buying 300.
Yeah,
going to the game. He lives in California.
Right.
That's ridiculous. It's probably Larry the Cable Guy. He's been on the show before. He's a big Nebraska fan. He's pretty rich. Look, 9-3. Hammer the over. You got him at 9-3 too, I believe.
Yep.
Right, Rob? And Patty C's got him at 10-2. 10-2. Is that good enough to get the? And how about this? I got them winning the Big Ten West.
I do too. And there is a chance that if they're playing a one loss, which is probably what's going to come out of the Big Ten.
Can we talk about the real problem here? They play that stupid game that is anti-Big Ten at Lucas Oil Stadium. Stupidest fucking game. The Big Ten championship. This is the Big Ten. Play the games fucking outdoors. Right? This ruins the hand. Well, you put it in a dome and it only benefits two teams with speed. Right? Maybe a little bit of Purdue. Maybe Wisconsin with the way they're headed. But really, Ohio State and Penn State, I feel like, are the ones that really benefits.
Yeah.
If you play this at Soldier or Lambeau, fucking Arrowhead, I don't care, right? I was going to beat them more often than not.
Well, you certainly won't get these 40-point blowouts that,
Yeah, you go to this terrible. It just doesn't fit your MO. Everything's bad about this.
The Big Ten has wised up. They're trying to compete with the SEC. They want to promote a team that's going to win a game in a
you know what it is,
in a bowl or environment.
Their championship game, because you're on brand. You've watched Big Ten football all year. It's like that Dumb and Dumber they snuck in without Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels. Do you remember that? They made a sequel to Dumb and Dumber. It was like just two random actors, and they're in like high school or something. Yeah. That's what this is. They're trying to cram bullshit down our fucking throat here. All right, we don't want it at Lucas Oil.
Look, I'm going to step out on a ledge here. I did watch about 30 minutes of that. That kid does an amazing job impersonating Jim Carrey.
Yeah, but the movie's not.
It's a terrible movie, but that guy does an amazing job of impersonating Jim Carrey.
Fair. I will meet you there. Rob, you got him winning the Big Ten West, and who do you? I mean, I guess I haven't played Michigan. You guys haven't played Michigan?
It's destined at this point.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, let's not sleep on Ohio State. I don't even think you could sleep on Penn State. But listen, 12-0 is not out of the question for Iowa. Not having Michigan or Ohio State on the schedule this year, it has to be taken seriously, man. This is as great of a team since when were they 1 yard away from the playoff? And when Michigan State. What year was that? That was like 2016 or something.
2016. I was at that game.
You were at that game. Man, that was close. Maybe this is the year where they finally get it done.
Maybe it is.
And they still fire Brian Ferentz at the end of it.
Hey, if they play in the Big Ten championship, he should veto that thing. Yeah. Bart is already gone.
He would be the next head coach if that happens. If they go to the playoff, I mean, all bets are off.
Yeah, true.
All right, look, before we get out of here.
All of Iowa's heads explode simultaneously.
Before we get out of here, I had the opportunity to sit down with Michael Barker, a.k.a. College Football Campus Tour on Twitter, who you should be following because this guy's awesome. This guy goes to like 30 games a week. I didn't even know who he was, but like the algorithm was recommending me this guy, and I was like, wait, this guy goes to this many games? He's fucking awesome. I had a chance to sit down with him to talk about Kinnick Stadium and his experiences to Iowa City, and here is that interview. Joining us on the College Football Experience Iowa Hawkeyes 2023 season preview episode is none other than College Football Campus Tour on Twitter, but I know him as Michael Barker. Michael, appreciate you hopping on the show to talk Iowa football in Kinnick Stadium. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, and this is one of the good ones here, so I'm excited to talk about Kinnick.
Yes, it is one of the. I haven't been, but it just looks awesome. But folks, Michael's been to every single college football stadium in the FBS. He's also been to a slew of other ones. He is a must follow for any college football fan, in my opinion. That's how that's how I know Michael. Essentially, his Twitter hooked us up with an algorithm that I was scrolling down one day and it was like, hey, this guy's going to this stadium, that stadium. And I was like, well, who the hell is this guy? He goes to 5, 6, 7 games a week. He documents it all. And it's not just, I'm at the game. Here's a photo of me with the beer at the game. No, this is actually cool. It's educational. It'll tell you about the history. Does a photo of the game that normally looks pretty badass. And it's not just the big schools. It's cool things like Colorado School of Mines, all this other great stuff that he does going around to all these stadiums. You got to give him a follow. Michael, tell me about Kinnick Stadium, man.
Yeah, well, thank you for all the kind words. Kinnick, it was built in 1929, has a 69,000 seat capacity. It's named after Niall Kinnick, who was a Heisman Trophy winner in 1943. He died during a training exercise in World War II in 1945. The field is named Duke Slater Field, and it's named for their two-time All-American offensive lineman. He's a member of the inaugural College Football Hall of Fame class. He was one of the first African-American linemen in the NFL. He went on to become a lawyer and a judge. Just a fantastic biography to have a statue artwork of him outside the stadium as well. It's home of one of the best college football traditions there is, which is the Iowa Wave. There's a children's hospital that overlooks the stadium, and at the end of the first quarter, all the fans turn towards the hospital and wave, and on the top level, you got kids and parents watching the game, and they wave back. It's pretty amazing, and one fact that I love, for any old school football head, the visitors' locker room is painted pink, and their famous coach Hayden Fry was the one who did that. And his strategy was that pink locker rooms will put the opposing team in a passive mood, and he felt like that was an advantage, and it's still pink to this day.
And it's working out because that's a hard place to go and do it win. So he must have been onto something, man. Yeah. And I love the wave, man. How could you not love the wave after the first quarter? So how many times have you been to Kinnick?
So I've been there twice. I went there in 2018. It was a 2-for-1, and it was they beat NIU, and I left probably beginning of the fourth quarter. Tried to get to Iowa State. I got to Iowa State. They played 5 minutes. There was a lightning storm, and they canceled the game. So I left Iowa early to get to Iowa State, and then they didn't even play the game. So that was it was an unfortunate break, but I made up for it last year. They always play a Black Friday game against Nebraska, whether it be in Lincoln or in Iowa City. This one was in Iowa City. Even though they lost, it was a very competitive game. And just being there in November, yeah, it's cold, but you're talking about Midwest classic football, and it's really a bucket list stadium. It's one of the premier ones in the Big Ten, and I enjoy going there every time I get a chance.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Black Friday, it's just perfect football weather, and you know what the Iowa fans are going to tell you if you tell that story in Iowa City. They're going to be like, "You brought the lightning there because you're not supposed to go to Iowa and Iowa State." You know, I mean, come on, no, I mean, but no, that I get it. As football junkies, look, I would go to Iowa State, I would go to Iowa, I'd go to Northern Iowa, Iowa Wesleyan, even though they shut down there, I'll still go there, even though that university shut down. So, folks, I hope you're just getting a small sample size, all right, of the life and times of Michael Barker, because look, the guy bounces around to every college stadium. You got to give him a follow on Twitter at CFB Campus Tour. Michael, I appreciate you hopping on, and honestly, I plan to go to Kinnick sometime in the near future. Maybe you'll join us, man.
Hope so. And regardless, whenever you get there, you will enjoy it, guaranteed.
Hell yeah, man. Take care and have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you.
Michael Barker. That guy's a legend, and I need to get to fucking Kinnick Stadium. If you told me I have my own personal jet, which I don't, but if you told me I do, that'd be pretty high on my list. Top 5.
I mean,
top 5.
Just the name, Niall Kinnick. He was like a World War II
Everything's
vet,
fucking
like
great about
Heisman winner.
Everything's great
awesome
about it. Rob's there. I feel like every weekend we're stuck here in LA at the wine and cheese crowds, but dude, I mean, you go to Kinnick often, right?
Man, let me tell you. So I'm a Steelers fan. I'm a Hawkeyes fan. I've been to Heinz Field several times. I've been to pretty much every single Big Ten stadium. I've been to a lot of other Big 12 and American stadiums, whatever else. There's no better religious feeling experience in sports than Kinnick Stadium. I mean, everybody just is having a good time before the game, having a great time during the game. It feels like there's 100,000 around you with only 69,000 in the stands. I mean, everybody buys in. We're actually pretty amicable to the visiting fans. Outside of Minnesota, we like everybody. And, it's an amazing time. And I can't wait for Saturdays coming up this fall.
That's what I'm talking about, Patty C.
Interesting to catch the real hatred toward Minnesota here. Yeah. Didn't really know where the hatred was being directed from Iowa.
No, it sounds like Nebraska too, right?
A little bit, but more so at Minnesota. It sounds like based on Fleck and based on that right there.
Well, Fleck was also at Western Michigan. He played at Northern Illinois.
I understand the hatred for Fleck
Iowa,
too.
Yeah. Look, folks, do yourself a favor and follow Rob Donaldson on Twitter at Rob DFB, and Rob honestly knows college sports. Give him a follow because he knows what the hell he's talking about. But when I did the college basketball experience, I met Rob. Well, I mean, subscribe to the college basketball experience. The Fran McCaffrey era continues on. Rob, that's how I met Rob, and Rob's fantastic at what he does. So you should follow him because he's really sharp as a bettor, but he's also very knowledgeable in sports and entertaining as all can be. So, Rob, I appreciate you hopping on, man.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on. It was a great time, and I'll be back if you invite me back.
Hell yeah, let's go,
Enjoy
folks.
the man.
Subscribe to the College Football Experience. Once again, we host the College Football Experience. We host the FCS College Football Experience. So Northern Iowa fans, Drake fans, we got you covered. We also host the College Basketball Experience, as I just alluded to, and the College Baseball Experience. We come together as one on YouTube, youtube.com/the College Experience. We also have a brand new feed dropping this week, the Big 12 College Experience, hosted by Ryan McIntyre.
Hello.
So check out that. And yes, Moneyline Mac is hosting that with a couple buddies. Check out the Big 12, even though you're Big 10 fans here. Go see what the enemy's doing, all right? So do that. Also, give us a follow on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Patty C's on Twitter at PattyC831. I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. Also, 5 stars on iTunes. I'm supposed to say all this script. Look, I don't care if you call me a fucking idiot. Just give us 5 stars, all right?
Please do both.
Yeah, and look, we're doing a hot 81 minutes on Iowa football because they deserve it, baby. All right, can they factor that into
Boom
the 25 points per game? I don't know, folks. This is the College Football Experience, Iowa Hawkeye style. You better start thinking about yours, and we out of here.
We can really run and shoot, and you know